You gotta know who you are. I didn't see nobody thought I would make it this far. I always knew I would take it this far. Even when I was running to work with no car. Cause I know the one who created the stars. Lucy won't put my mind in the bar. Wake up and kill the pride, know it's hard. When people always try and put your card. I cannot waste my time on tomorrow. Don't wanna keep my mind on your heart.
I probably should just turn that off. I'm live, family. I'm live. I think most of the family's on nap mode right now. But hey, I'm Jessica Lee. It's Sacred Sunday. It's about noon. So here I am. And my old self. I'm an older lady. So yeah, I'm not dating, guys. Good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining me. My name's Jessica Lee. I'm also known as the Secret Psychic and Sophia, and I have a few nicknames, I guess, but my real name's Jessica Lee. I do intuitive readings. I have a lot of gifts. I have quite a testimony too. I did walk with Spirit for 7 years. I didn't plan to. It wasn't part of my plan at all, but I did hear the call and I did follow it, and things just, when you walk with Spirit and you trust in God, just things happen. It's out of your control, and yeah. So it's a long story. We'll go into that another day. But it is Sacred Sunday, and I have great news. My older son's home, so just asking for prayers, for our family, that we all stay strong in our faith and that we keep taking the next right step. Because life's gonna be kind of tricky. It can be, and this year is going to be, there's going to be so many changes that we have to go through, all of us. Like I said, I think the last 2 weeks, nobody's getting out of this unscathed or without facing the mirror. And the mirror's going to come for us, too. Things that we've been avoiding or ignoring, we're not going to be able to just keep ignoring it. But that's for another day. Spirit did want me to, of course, look into the Bible today. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I want to say funny, but it's not really funny. It was interesting because, as I mentioned, I went for this walk with Spirit for 7 years. And before that time, and even during it, I was sexually promiscuous, very much so. And I should say before that, I really enjoyed it. I was, I profited off of it, I was a playa. A hustler of sorts, not entirely like a bad girl, but I was I definitely wasn't living righteously, we'll say that much. And after that long 7-year journey, my perception on, sex has changed, relationships, don't ever send me links or videos of I don't even want to see people making out. I look like a prude. I realize I had to dress like a prude today as I tell you this. But yeah, I used to love porn, y'all. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's hot, ooh, that's a nasty bitch. Oh yeah, I was all into it. And it's just so crazy because now I am so not. It really grosses me out. I'm not interested in, and it's not so much that it's gross, it's just I'm not interested. I'm totally, if you think of the chakra system and how, the higher up you go, the more enlightened you are, yeah, but you're more focused on spiritual things. And then when you go down lower to the root, you are more focused on survival, lust, yeah, passion, there's the passion there. Yeah, so I'm up here. I'm very much up here. And people that are still looking for the love of their life and procreation and intimacy on that physical level, yeah, they're more on the root level, and there's nothing wrong with it, really, as long as it's within balance, right? We don't want to just keep flinging our privates all over every time we see somebody that's interested or that we're interested in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sure, it feels good, but I know from experience, that also creates more situations that can get very sticky and uncomfortable, and that, I don't know, I can't speak for the world, but for me, when I would get intimate with people, that kind of, it's like it didn't just open one door to the possibility of love, it also, it opened so many doors, you got the possibility of children, the possibility of a broken heart, the possibility that your best friend might fall in love with your man or whatever, and they will run off in the sunset. All these different possibilities, there's just so many. And for me, it just got to a point where I just realized I wasn't opening these doors anymore because I didn't really, I I've seen where they lead, and it's just not for me anymore. It doesn't really give me passion anymore. So anyway. Alright, so so we were talking about that. Okay, so I was reflecting on that earlier, how much I've changed, what I want, what drives me, what inspires me, what I end up wanting to read about or look at online, all so much has changed. And so earlier this morning, I'm sitting out here, hanging out, and Spirit tells me, let's open the Bible. So I do. I open it up, and I open to Hosea chapter 4, and it's talking about let me just grab the Bible, because I took notes here. I did take notes, and I'll get to those, but I want to just make sure I read to where I started, like what I first started reading from was Hosea chapter 4, verse 14. And it says, I will not hold an accounting against your daughters because of their prostitution. And I was like, oh. Because I was like, it's not like I'm like dwelling on these things, but it's like, that's who I was, right? We're going to be real. I'm sorry. Anybody who decides, oh, I'm going to get this lick, get up, and I'm going to get whatever, whether it's money, a bag, a vacation, that's prostitution. Anytime you compromise your own values, period. It doesn't even have to be with sex. But anytime you compromise your values in exchange for a monetary gain or some kind of power, that is actually technically prostitution. So you learn something new every day, right? So that's the first line that I read. It also says, and against your daughters-in-law. Okay, I'll just start from the beginning. Okay. Hosea chapter 4, verse 14. I will not hold an accounting against your daughters because of their prostitution, and against your daughters-in-law because of their adultery. For the men go off with the harlots, oh, don't they? I concur. And sacrifice with the temple prostitutes. I'm going to stop right there because I've said this for years, this is why I will not get married. I've seen it too much, being on the side of, prostitution, if you will. I've seen it so much. And even working I used to wait tables at the titty bars. And I've seen it so many times where these married men, they're like the biggest clients, by the way. They're married men, and they leave their wives at home, to deal with the whole everything while they're at the titty bar or they're getting their rub down. And I mean, I was getting paid $200 an hour in a lot of cases. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't cheap. But those days are behind me. God intervened. I'll tell you the story one day about how I switched from being, a high class lady of the night or day shift for the oil and gas industry into being an intuitive counselor. Again, wasn't my plan, just things happen. If it was up to me, I'd be burning in hell right now, for real. I would be burning in hell. Not by choice, just by the choices and what I thought was good and what was right for me. And I still could go and end up burning in hell, God's still working on me. I'm by no means the finished product here. Okay, so yeah. So the men go off with the harlots and sacrifice with the temple prostitutes. So yeah, they leave their wives at home. They're not taking care of them, their needs. And they're giving all their attention and money to these women who they're, whether they like them or not is irrelevant. The fact is they're not going to be there unless they're giving them the money, and they're prostitutes. They're not. So yeah, exactly. Such a people without understanding will come to ruin. Although you are committing prostitution, O Israel, let not Judah become guilty. Do not come to Gilgal or to Bethaven, and do not swear, as surely as Jehovah is alive. That's my reminder. I need to stop swearing. Please, y'all. Every time I swear, leave an angry face comment for me. So it will be buzzing me, like a little shock therapy. Go ahead, leave an angry little bad girl. I need to stop swearing. Amen. Okay, okay. For like a stubborn cow, Israel has become stubborn. Will Jehovah now shepherd them like a young ram in an open pasture? Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone. When their beer is finished, I feel like someone's going to read this or hear this right when they're drinking a beer. When their beer is finished, they become promiscuous. And her rulers dearly love dishonor. The wind will wrap her in its wings, and they will be ashamed of their sacrifices. That's the end of chapter 4. And okay. So, yeah, for me, that was like, thank you. I needed the first part of 14, obviously, was like right in line with something that was on my mind. And also, I was listening to, my Christian hip-hop while I was reading, having a good old time. And something about the lyrics that were said made me think of like 3 and then 2. And I was like, well, I wonder what chapter 3 verse 2 says. And I go over to chapter 3 and I go ahead and start. And I go ahead and start with 3. So it says, then Jehovah said to me, go once again, love the woman who is loved by another man and is committing adultery, just as Jehovah loves people of Israel. While they turn to other gods and love raisin cakes. And raisin cakes just makes me think fruitcake, and I never liked it. Okay, I don't like fruitcake. So I purchased her for myself for 15 silver pieces and a homer measure and a half of barley. I'm not sure what all that is, but when I read 15 pieces of silver, I thought of the apartment, the apartment complex where I live when the Holy Ghost came to me. The address was 15101. So I just thought that was interesting with the 15. I know it doesn't mean anything, but I thought it was kind of like cool. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so the prostitute ladies bought for 15 pieces of silver, and then he says to her, you will remain mine for many days. You must not commit prostitution, and you must not have relations with another man, and I will behave the same way toward you. And I mean, of course, I'm always looking for how things relate to me, because I'm all human, and that's what humans do. But like for me, after I left that apartment, 15101, God did literally come to me, the Holy Spirit and God and all that, and even though I did still have relations, it always seemed like I was with the same spirit, or like I was being taunted. And maybe it was a demon, maybe it was there to teach me, of certain things, because whenever I did encounter this demon, I did, I called it a demon out of lack of knowledge. I don't know what else to call some entity that's able to possess people, and seems to put the fear of God in you constantly, like literally put the fear of God in me a lot. Taught me, when I'm told to move, I better move, or I'm gonna get my ass whooped in some cases. Yeah, I mean, I could look at the bright side of my encounters with that entity, or I could look at the dark, or I could look at both and just be like, well, God let it all happen. So, and I surely learned the most with that one. I was gonna say the swear word, but I didn't. Okay, but I did learn the most. So even though I was promiscuous, it seemed like I always was with the same spirit, if you get my drift. And also I was like, I mean, mind you, I was suddenly homeless. I had no way to get back to my children, because no one in my family would come pick me up. I had no car. I had no money. But I was constantly approached by men. One guy followed me for blocks, asking for a blowjob. First, he started off with a $5 offer, and it went up to $100. And there was another dude who went up to $500. And I had a whole team of people like, yeah, get the money. And I was like, something in me. I don't know. I didn't even know what it was, but something in me. Oh, yeah. Where it's like, oh, you could feel God was with you. You're like, yeah, when you realize, you're being watched by God, you kind of behave different. You totally do. It's just kind of like, when you're doing something and then everything's fine, but then someone's watching, and then you're like, oh, I gotta be up. When the boss comes to check on things, yeah, that's what it's like. So yeah, that's why. I mean, I still did have my moments, but like I said, it was always like a spiritual calling to me, almost a spirit calling to me that drew me to those certain people. Okay, so we're moving on. Root chakra we've covered. A little Hosea. Oh no, we're not finished. Okay, we're not moving quite on, but we're moving along the line with the Hosea chapter. So we go into chapter 4, and it's God's legal case against those in Israel. And he's pointing out that they have no loyalty, there's no knowledge of God, They're constantly giving false oaths, which would be like a false promise, when you're like, yeah, I'll be there, but you really know you're not going to be there, and you're just saying whatever to get them off your, leave me alone. Okay, so that's also mentioned lying and murder. And Spirit was telling me, if you really know God, you're not going to do these things. If you really know God, you won't even be able to. You'll be like me. When I constantly am like, oh, wait, no, that wasn't right. And I'm trying to make sure I say things right. So I'm not giving a false oath or a false testimony, if you will. Definitely not. Yeah, murder. I hardly can kill a bug, y'all. But anyway, that's again me reflecting. But in the book of Hosea, this is what God's pointing at and saying, look, people, this is where I got a problem with y'all. Also, he brings up stealing. If you are stealing, you do not know God, and he's got a problem with that. If you're committing adultery, you don't know God, and he's got a problem with that. If you're busy out seeking revenge, measuring everything, an eye for an eye, God has a problem with that. And he promises, this is why you will mourn. And as I was reading this, Spirit's telling me this is what we call karma. And they're saying, what kind of seeds have we been planting? What kind of seeds have you planted? Have I planted? And as I'm reading this, a song called Grave by KB and Brandon Lake came on, and Spirit was telling me to make a note of this and let y'all know, those of y'all that are about to, have some form of this bad karma, your bad fruits are coming, The Spirit gave me a flashback of somebody. This is when I still was at that apartment at the 15101 address. There's a lady that lived downstairs from me. It was the weirdest freaking thing, y'all. I still am like, she brought this like a Kroger bag filled with little girl clothes, probably the size of a 5 or 6 year old. And she brought them to my door and told me I needed to clean up my mess. And I was just like, what? I don't even have a daughter. It made absolutely no sense to me at all. I didn't know what she was talking about. Yeah, that was wild. So where were we going with the Spirit? Okay, that was with your, the bad fruits, So maybe I'll find out. I do have a daughter somewhere out there in the spirit world. I really don't know. They brought that up to me for a reason, as an example of if you made a mess and it's, it gets scattered. Someone's going up the mirror. They're like, the mirror's bringing it to you. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. And yeah, that song, Grave by KB and Brandon Lake. This is to let y'all know, those that are going to go through, we can call it a dark night of the soul, hard times, smoke and mirrors, getting down to the real root of things. It's not easy work, and it's going to be like a rebirth, When we say this is a reset, we really mean it. And there is hope. So Spirit was recommending, I recommend that song to those who need a little help and inspiration. It's kind of like a rabbit hole, if you will, to look into this music. It can be a rabbit hole, but it's a better rabbit hole than finding out about what's out to hurt you. Let's try to find the better rabbit holes, is what Spirit's saying. There are better rabbit holes to discover. That which will take us to a whole different wormhole for a different, I'm hearing Interstellar, how that movie with Matthew McConaughey, they're like, we're going to end up in certain different realities, those of us who are on the journey, you know what I'm saying? So while you're going to your 5D consciousness, your heaven on earth, and actively manifesting it, or I should say co-manifesting, because really we can't do anything on our own right. So you want to try to steer your boat in a better water. How am I doing?
You're doing good.
Okay. All right. So they're also the Bible, not they. This is from the Bible, not my guides right now, but it is something my guides definitely tell me to watch. This is also one of the legal cases Jehovah, Yahweh, has against the humans. That they're prideful against correction. And then he says, and this is what Spirit said, these are the results. This is what's in the Bible, though. You will stumble in broad daylight. This is Hosea chapter 4, verse 5. You will stumble in broad daylight, and the prophet will stumble with you, as if it were night, and I will silence your mother. And there's more to it, y'all, but I stopped there, and, just makes me realize I wasn't doing too bad, because when I had to go through my dark night, I actually did not ever stumble. I know that sounds like some bullshit. Sorry. It sounds like a lie, but it's the truth. So I'm kind of boastful about it. Like, Jesus does have my feet. I have walked through dark forests at night with who knows where the holes are, the little dips. I've walked through without falling even once. For 7 years, No, the one time I have fallen in the last 10 years, I fell my butt was about that high off the ground because I was squatting down in front of the safe at the Taco Bell I was working at, the one that was had my hair falling out. And I was going in the safe trying to get change for one of the registers, and my shoe just slipped out and my butt just went bloop, and I was like, okay, I need to quit. That's when I decided I am not coming back here, because that's the first time I've fallen, and all this time that's not a good sign. I take my signs extremely serious. So that was my cue. We gotta go. And now here I am back doing readings again. Readings, psychic readings, giving some people guidance. Ooh. Alright, so we're gonna go on to the next section. Alright, so Spirit again reminding me about the music. And what got me through these hard years, I've already did mine. I have another, I have a whole other thing coming. I'm a Virgo, y'all. So if you follow astrology, starting to, Virgos are we're going through something that's never ever been, never happened ever in human history, astrologically speaking. We are the first. If you notice, we had all these moon, these equinoxes and I can't even think of the technical words. I'm not an astrologer, but all the moon crap and the Virgo stuff. Look into it. I don't know what's going on, but Spirit's telling me I already walked through these fires that I'm about to guide y'all through. So, I'm here for y'all. I've been through it. It ain't easy. It's not freaking easy. It's not. But it's amazing. It's so amazing. The more, just remember, walk in faith. And, I don't want to say what would Jesus do, but just remember, you're going to be tempted. You're going to be tempted to see if you learned your lesson. If you're willing to change, really. If you know right from wrong. If you're willing to act on right from wrong. While I was homeless all that time, people called me a freaking, excuse my language, but they called me the P word. They called me the P word. I wasn't about that life. I got insulted that way because I wouldn't steal. I wouldn't go in the store and boost. Because I wasn't willing to give a BJ or sleep in a room with somebody that I wasn't attracted to. Sure, yeah, I still had sex, but if I didn't feel that connection, that spiritual, energetic pull that said, this is somebody you should be with, I didn't mess with it. You couldn't pay me enough. You could offer me $500 and I wasn't going to do it. So, So anyways, back to that music, the Engine radio station, as I posted up here, they really got me through so much. If you believe in AI and the algorithm, I just, don't swear. Okay. I just would say this radio station did so much for me, and I know it did a lot for others that were on the street. We practically had a whole church around this radio station. We had trap gas stations playing the station all over 1960 in Houston. It's off the mainstream air now. It was on Houston radio and other radio stations. I think they travel around actually on the radio airwaves over the country, and then they have their online app, which is why I think they're doing what they're doing, because they were on the air in Houston from Humble, Texas. They were broadcasting for, well, pretty much the whole time I was homeless. They started broadcasting August 2016, which is my birth month of the year that Holy Spirit had me go, leave the kids with family and go see the world. So yeah, it started in 2016, and it stopped airing, I want to say, probably about 3 months before my mom passed away. So I was still homeless at the time when they stopped. technically homeless. I had people that took care of me, thankfully, but I did not have my own place, and I had to go when Spirit told me, so I could never lay root anywhere. I was just a traveler. But I remember the night they announced that it... Anyway, so yeah, basically they were on Houston Airwaves while I was homeless the whole time, and stopped airing just before I was reunited with my family and off of that 7-year journey. But they do still broadcast online. You can get the app. It's totally free. They have Bible studies. You can do prayer. They do occasional fundraisers. They don't have ads. There's no ads on this station, but they do have fundraisers so that they can keep, playing and doing what they got to do. And I remember one time they encouraged people who, I don't know, they just encouraged everybody just to send a message, and I was like, it's just a call. I wish I could send 200, but I'm homeless. And I guess maybe somebody read it and donated in my name, maybe, because within a half hour later they said that Jessica donated 200, and I was just like, what? I don't know. That was so cool. It was just so cool. So they do take donations, but otherwise it's ad-free, very helpful, almost in sync. That's what I was trying to get at with the AI algorithm thing. Like, the lyrics always hit home for me, like right at the moment when it would give me revelations that help me understand and heal and be stronger. It's super awesome. So Spirit really wanted me to promote Engine Radio today because, if you find that you're one of those people that, maybe you didn't plant such good seeds and now it's coming back to haunt you and you don't really know how to cope with it, definitely check out Engine Radio. You're going to need something to get you through it. And if you're not really close with God, your higher spirit, whatever you want to call it, Yahweh, Cambodia, I don't know. Everyone calls it something different, Could be Jireh, could be Yahweh, could be Yeshua, could be Jesus. I think the main thing we need to remember is there is a ever creative, omnipresent force, and it is watching, and it does care. So reach back out to it. I mean, as long as you're reaching out and you're trying, it's going to get better. Okay? So yeah, definitely check out Engine Radio. The Spirit's also wanting me to bring out, they were telling me earlier when I was like, okay, are we making a plan this time? So we made a plan. And I gotta say, I think the energy is better when I just wing it, or just go online and don't have all my notes. Because I do see my energy is a little, more confined. Yeah, that's the word. But still, so these 808 beats, y'all. We love our trap music, we love our 808 beat. And what a lot of people don't know is, with vibrations, these 808 beats, they're in relation to that root chakra I was talking about, the one that has to do with your survival, your grounding, your root, what holds you down. So I would say the last 10-15 years, we've heard a lot of music coming out, a lot of different kinds, but we do like the 808s a lot, and they play them at the clubs, and just from what I remember, when I was on the clubbing scene, a lot of those songs, they're about sex. Mostly. Sex. And making money. Sometimes whooping someone's ass type stuff. And that's... So Spirit's like, well, we'll just put a pin in those two things. And let's just think about that for a minute. These are beats that vibrate with our root, our foundation. And they're being accompanied, for the most part, with lyrics about screwing, getting revenge, eating buttholes, stuff like that, getting money, hustling. So that's where it's like, okay, so what kind of music was I listening to before the Holy Ghost came for me? Oh, Britney Spears, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga. Yeah, Lady Gaga. What else was I listening to? That's basically kind of it. Fiona Apple. Yeah, all women singers, no doubt. Stuff like that. And, I kept having, these few different people were, telling me, and I could tell it was Spirit telling me, I need to listen to hip-hop. And I was like, Because to me, like, all the stuff that they played on, like, the rap stations was all, like, gangster, I want to beat you up, and my punani's better than yours, and baby, we were grinding the boner song. I'm really not into the boner song. I know. Baby, we were grinding. I get so excited. I mean, it's a boner song. So yeah, I was not really down for it, but yeah, and I wasn't listening to, these messengers, even though I felt, this is not just a person telling me, it's just, the Spirit's telling me where to look or something. I wasn't doing it. And I found myself, I was with this guy, Matthew, the one who ended up being the demon. Yeah, I was with him when Engine Radio was first discovered in my life. And they started off with 5 songs. And those 5 songs were the truth. Oh my God. They were like all the stuff the Spirit was telling me before I even left the apartment that made me a believer that Jesus is back. Jesus is here. And so these 5 songs, they were like prophecy for me. They were like reaffirming that I was not crazy. That like, wow, now we have a radio station playing the messages that you've been hearing. And it's just wild. So it started off with 5 songs on radio. But they are songs that are based, it's not just Christianity. That's what really blew me away. Because yes, it's Christian based. But they're not like, you know how in modern churches, they don't tell you about any other history. They don't tell you the whole story at all. These people on Engine Radio, the artists, they're educated. They have actually done, they know behind, the control, and they know Christ is real. They know Christ consciousness is real. And they know about all the other deities, and they give real lessons. It's not just this fluffy, the baby Gerber food fed from your local pastor. No, they got real meat on their plate. They got real meat. And it's something you can sink your teeth into. It's something you can actually relate to. And it's something that's real, and it makes you realize that the Bible is living word in action, and you're part of the story. So yeah, check out Engine Radio. Let's stop programming ourselves with these 808 beats to turn our booty into a buffet for a bunch of strange dudes. Let's use these 808 beats to try and get more grounded in with our own spiritual needs, to be healed, to have stronger faith in something that is beyond this physical world. And just a few suggestions. Do what thy will. Okay, I think that's about it. And we've only done a half hour. Oh my God, I feel like I've been talking for an hour and a half. I'm out of breath. Okay. Spirit also wanted me to remind people, look into frequencies of, again, this is kind of a broadcast mainly for those who are about to go through it, judging from the notes that they had me take and looking into things. And just remember, if you are going through it, Jesus went through worse. If that makes you feel better. If misery truly loves company, if you're still in that mind state, like, why is it only me? It's not only you. Guess what? You're not the only one. I'm not saying that to be mean, but I'm saying that to try to remind you, if anything, sitting around crying about why me and thinking you're the only one having that limited perception is much like a toddler, The spirit world is coming through, God's coming through, and He's trying to correct you and wake you up. So quit whining about God paying attention to you. Be grateful for it, and that you're going to get this little lesson in life. And be glad that you have the opportunity, because if it is like the Bible says, with the holy fire of brimstone, let's get it together, bro. Especially if you start seeing it's real, and you will, get it together. If I'm telling you, go find God, quit worrying about something, and if you hear this, I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings, but there's a reason for that. Deuteronomy 13 says that, there are false prophets. The false prophets are going to worship other gods. They're going to tell you don't have to follow this way. And they're also all prophets are going to be used to test people. So if you have a prophet telling you to focus on something else, especially God, rather than what you keep trying to get information on, just saying you might want to consider that very seriously. And that's from Spirit, not me. Okay, so these frequencies, for those going through it, try to play some 174s. That is going to help with stress relief and pain. And also the 396. That's going to help you more with your fear and guilt related issues. And I'm hearing a lot of the 396. Y'all need a lot of it. A lot. Because a lot of y'all aren't even willing to, you're not willing or able to even see what you're afraid of, or what that guilt even came from, because you've been kind of delusional. Not delusional, but avoidant. Not living. Oh, they're like that Uranus. Look at the Uranus. Yeah, so Uranus does make things. We can live in La La Land. It's a planet where there's imagination and rebirth. I want to look at something else. I'm not going to go running for something. But Uranus does have a lot to do with big changes, fantasy, a lot of fantasy, imagination, and it's also vibing and journeying with Saturn. So we have like reality and fantasy bumping heads for a little bit. But I think, what did Cam say? I'm pretty sure Uranus, there's the Neptune. Uranus. I'll have to look at Cam White stuff. Check out Cam White. He's a pro. He's the one I'm taking the notes from anyways, but I'm trying to find it. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, it's probably on another page I don't have right here. But I'll just go ahead and read my notes for the Sunday from Cam. Yeah, so we're having a square with Uranus. We're supposed to relax, chill. Relax and chill today. We need to slow down, reflect, and retrace our steps, re-strategize. So since I just want to say the veil of fantasy is starting to dissipate. Starting to kind of like, you can see through right now and you realize what you've been fooling yourself with a bit, or what you weren't able to see so clearly, or what maybe your hopes were a little too high about, not more reality based. That's going to be coming into focus. You'll be alright. Just be real about it, when you see it, don't try to oh, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. If somebody's telling you something, don't try to create some other explanation. They told you what they told you. Don't try to find another way to make it be what you wanted it to be, is one thing I'm hearing. Just take things for what they are and don't try to second guess. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. That's the best advice I'm telling me I can give y'all for this week. Don't bull crap yourself. Yay! Hey, can I get... Okay, give me angry faces when I swear. And give me hearts when I find another way to say something without swears. Let's play a game. Will she drop the ball? Will she make it? Can she make it through one whole broadcast without dropping a swear? Ooh, Lord. Lord, that'd be a challenge for me. I use cuss words like adverts. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards. Or let them just jump right on the table. What we got here? Epiphany, balance, and devotion. Spirit's telling me some of y'all really already are. It's clicking for y'all. You're seeing where maybe things haven't been so even-handed. Maybe you've been over-focused on, I'm hearing you're over-focused on this pile. This pile is already overstacked, and then you got this little piddly stuff over here. So you're realizing maybe you put a little too much into one basket. You need to come back and fill up the other ones. Or maybe you haven't used all of the resources that are available to you. That's another thing for saying. And then we also have victory with boredom. Alright, I'm hearing with these two, we're going to have to be willing to accept help from others a little more. And also be willing to help others more. No! Well, how do selfish people do that? Also hearing. Okay. Vaguely hearing, trying to get it off. Okay, having to do with situations where you're really not feeling it, and you're kind of pushing yourself to go with it. If you find yourself in this situation, just stop for a minute and ask yourself, why don't you want to do it? Is it because you're tired? Is it because your heart's not into it? Is it because you feel resentful? Go back to that balance card. You've already put so much into their basket, and so if you're feeling yeah, you need, okay, and they're also going back to that thing with things Jehovah has with people with false promises and testimonies. Like, don't agree to do something if your heart's not into it in the first place. There's no harm in saying I need time to think about it. There's no harm in saying no to something. And they're also saying, you know, if you do say no, the reaction that somebody's giving you is also, it's going to be quite significant. Pay attention to how people react to your boundaries this week. That's going to give you a lot of information. And if you find somebody that you value, you love, that you've been walking on eggshells for, or investing all your time, your money, your resources on, if you realize the reaction is showing you that they don't feel the same, if you're realizing you're not coming up on their radar like they are on yours, you know, you got to be real with yourself. But try to we're real good at making excuses for other people who haven't even said sorry. That's what I'm hearing there. Like, you may be so devoted to, like, hanging in there and seeing the brighter side and being just real understanding of their past or their trauma. Like, that's great. I'm hearing, like, that's real great. That's sweet. But don't hold on so long that you're in these waters with sharks and you want to save the shark and they're going to end up biting your hands off. That's kind of what I'm feeling like. They're like, do not hold on so tight. You sacrifice yourself. Make sure you're not sacrificing yourself for the wrong thing. That's the big one. Make sure you are not sacrificing yourself for the wrong thing. And kind of going back to that whole vibe of if you're agreeing to do something and you don't feel like it, you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up for a bad time. You're either setting yourself up for a bad time, you're setting yourself up to look, I kind of want to say a clown, but it's like this, it's not just like a fool, haha clown, but it's like somebody, like, you can't take them serious. Because you're saying yeah, but you're not doing it. The reality don't match the words, so then, you look like a clown, you can't be taken seriously. And then there's okay, so you do go through with it, now you're miserable the whole time, and you feel even extra, then you feel even more irritated because you already knew that you were not going to enjoy this. You already knew you weren't going to be appreciated. You already knew that here you are again. And at that point, who do you blame? Because you already knew, but you just kept staying devoted to this situation that's not so good for you. So, go ahead, let's just do a couple more. And we still haven't read these, but they're like, go on, pull a couple more. I also got the Ten of Wands, Five of Cups, Page of Swords, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, now we'll read these more. Okay. So we got Ten of Wands, Five of Cups. So this is somebody who's already put in a lot of work. And they're like almost at the finish line. And I feel like, okay, Five of Cups is usually about somebody who's still looking at the past. They're dwelling on the past, and you know, that's what I hear. They're dwelling on the past. They're dwelling on what didn't go right, and they're not appreciating what they still have. They're kind of, these 3 cups are spilt over. They still have 2 cups behind them, and I'm kind of getting this be-guarded feeling. Like, this person's they're still making it to the finish line. They're still almost there, but it's not feeling like a real happy time. Like, yeah, you almost made it, but you're still like, it's kind of like a mother duck who, you know, she goes for a walk with her babies and she has 5, but 3 of them fall down the sewer, and yes, she made it home to the lake okay with 2 of them, but she's obviously still sad about what didn't make it all the way to the end of the journey. Alright, so we also have the Page of Swords. So this is something I'm hearing with this. This is something you're learning through. You're trying to make peace with it, and it's going to, whoever this is for, this is going to take you a while. I'm seeing December through March. They're telling me, look at the date here. So you're going to struggle with this for a while, well into the new year. And I'm hearing Spirit. What do we mean by struggle? We mean there's going to be a lot of back and forth with it, as in moments like you're moving forward, you're accepting, yes, this is not something I can keep doing when it sucks. We could look at it like an addiction or a relationship maybe, And you still have hope. There's still hope there. You still have things to be happy for. But you just keep looking back and you're like, but if only, and I wish it was just like, or maybe one more time. And you're starting to slowly evolve and come to terms with, yes, this is for the best, and you know it. But you're going to be battling it. These moments, I'm hearing moments of weakness where you're still going to reminisce. And I'm hearing retrograde. We got all these retrogrades. So this will be affecting you for a while. Okay, karma card. So Spirit's addressing those of you who have done things right now, that you really have given it your all. You've done your best. But again, like, what are you investing in? Make sure you're not sacrificing yourself for the wrong thing, the wrong person, the wrong purpose. Yes, you need to learn some hard lessons. Yes, we get through things and we learn things through our relationships, our connections with each other. Our highs and our lows, our victories, our defeats. We're always learning, though. Sometimes we do need to change our classroom. Alright. And again, Spirit's like, so you have good karma. You do have good karma. You weren't going out trying to manipulate. You weren't trying to lie to people. You weren't trying to make false promises. You weren't cheating. You weren't stealing. You weren't trying to steal anyone's joy or peace and play hide games. I'm hearing, like, you weren't avoiding playing hide games. You were trying to be very clear, okay? Spirit's like, you did everything as good as you could, you know? So yeah, they're like, oh, so this is like, you might have to like do a mirror thing, take a screenshot and flip it around, but this is the card of karma. I'll read it. Karma, turning point, a turn for the better. Destiny always changes. Unpredictable, good fortune, cycles. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm getting reminded, I was saying something earlier about, we gotta cry sometimes, but we cannot just drown in our tears. We have to find the rainbow in them. And when I say that in regards to this, I mean, yes, it's been hard. Yes, you wish things were different, and they're not. But what did we learn? And you're learning where to invest your energy and your love and your heart, and where not to. So look at the positive and know things are going to change. And there is another class coming. You'll have more opportunities. You really are. There's going to be so many more opportunities. And good things are going to come for you. But you're going to have to start showing God that you know you deserve better. That you're not going to waste the gifts and the good energy that you have on the wrong people. That you're going to be wiser. You're going to be willing to start new projects. New projects are coming, I'm hearing. And this project word relates to life, love, money, career, family. New projects are coming. Rebirth, transition, absolution, forgiveness. And they're like, look, we got these two cards here. And Spirit's just like, this is what our next few years is really about. Plain and simple. And they really want me to just end it right there for whatever reason. And they're like, no, go on, show them one more time. We're going to end it here. This is the time we're approaching, and it's going to be going for a while. So you may want to call this Judgment Day. I don't know. I'm not trying to be like a doomsayer. I actually think it's really good that judgment comes to us, because I do believe the soul is everlasting. It will go to Source, and Source will do with us and our memories and all that as is needed, and I trust in that. So I don't fear death anymore. I mean, what are you going to do? Send me my maker? Go ahead. Woohoo. I definitely don't fear death. I do fear disappointing my God, my higher self, or those that I'm sent to hell, but I do fear that. Definitely don't fear much else. But I know God and the Holy Spirit are so loving. I've talked about this in other posts. You can check my YouTube for other videos about it. The way people try to change each other and correct each other is quite violent, quite impatient, and quite cruel. And the Holy Ghost, which is part of God and Jesus, is not that way. It's really not. So I'm all for being corrected by God. I am. Because nobody's going to do it as good as God and the Holy Ghost. I mean, I used to be a freaking whore. And now I have no interest. And even I have a boyfriend because I'm so happy with my relationship with God, so I have no real need. I've already had my children, thank God. So, I mean, of course I would love a best friend for life, but I sit at home alone with my kids, and I'm fine. I'm not just fine. I'm happy and I'm content. So, I feel like until God really sends me somebody, and I'm not just gonna go with somebody because they're cute or they paid attention to me or they live close by or their kids are the same age as mine or we go to the same church. It's gonna have to be somebody who's like on my level, who I can feel myself with, and that I don't have to wonder about and be all anxious over. Can I do it? They're not. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm not trying to even date, so I'm just saying that. And so it's like, yeah, let's go. We're done. So thank you for everybody who watched. I am Jessica Lee. There's a link to my link tree over here. I don't know how to do this. There it is, that pink one. If you do want a reading, I do only ask $15 for the first 20 minutes. Typically I do like 20-minute sessions. So you can do your first for 15. Other than that, afterwards it's 25 for 20 minutes. I do have a lot of other offers, packages, and services, so check out my website, the-secret-psychic.com. You can also find that link through the link tree and other links to my other websites, my blogs, my horoscopes, and my YouTube channel. But this is just my Secret Sundays. I do also like to have more people comment, but I know everyone's busy, and I'm new at this. This is like my 6th one, maybe 6th or 7th of Sacred Sundays, so I know it's going to be a little ghost town here for a while. But I'll just be here holding it down, and I hope y'all have a great week ahead. Check out Cam White, he's really good. Cam White, the tarot ship, and what other astrologer? Oh, I can't remember his name. So just saying, check out these two dudes at least for now. They'll help give you a roadmap of what good things and what hard things are coming, so you can help navigate through it. We're all being tested, so you might as well study for your test. Have a good day.